Well, the Nintendo Switch 2 has basically been out for over a month now, and the only really big blockbuster title that's available is Mario Kart World. I've been playing it now for about a month, and I've got some thoughts on it. I would like to say that initially I was thinking about calling this a review. It's probably named a review, but I don't really feel like this is a full finished review of this product. I'll explain what I mean by that as I go on throughout this. So I'm going to start off by kind of going through all of the modes here in Mario Kart World, starting off with, of course, Grand Prix, which is no surprise there. That's in every single Mario Kart that has, ever been. Grand Prix mode here, for me, is a disappointment. I really prefer just the normal 3-lap structure of Grand Prix mode. They've introduced this thing where you've got to drive between the courses. You're going to go from A to B, and the journey between the courses is part of the course. And then when you finally get to the course, you only do 1 lap of the actual course. I'm not a big fan of this. I got to be honest with you. The courses are the best designed. You can tell the most work has been put into them, and yet that's kind of getting sideswiped by these random other areas. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of that. I guess, back up this point, when I play split screen here at home, I usually play versus mode, and we just do 3 rounds on the same course. And it's perfectly fine. It's totally fun. I wish Grand Prix had an option to say, do you want to play the original Grand Prix or the World Grand Prix? And the World Grand Prix is you race from one track to another and you do all your kind of stuff there. That would be great. Let's just do that. And then if you want the original standard Grand Prix, you should be allowed to just say, hey, I just want to do 3 laps on this course, 3 laps on that course, 3 laps on that course, and then, a 4th and final one, and then we're done with the Grand Prix. I hope that they add that in future updates, because not having that now feels like a really big bummer. I love my Grand Prix modes. Whenever I'm feeling kind of cozy and I just want to sit on the couch and just play a little bit Mario Kart, I just throw on 100cc, something kind of slower, not too competitive, and I like to just go 3 laps and just enjoy myself. I don't like these interludes, these kind of in-between things. I don't know. I'm not a fan. I don't like it. Next up is Knockout Tour. Now, contrary to Grand Prix mode, Knockout Tour is fantastic. I really love this one. In this mode, you race from one course to another. However, there is no stopping. One course through, the next course through, the next course through, all the way to the very, very end. And each marker that you get to, they eliminate certain people from the race. So if you're in the bottom 4, you get cut off. And then the bottom 4, you get cut off. So each time you're having to fight your way to get to the front, because by the second to last, I think there's 6. I believe that there's 6 checkpoints throughout Knockout Tour. Once you've hit checkpoint 5, there's only 4 people left in the race. And those top 4 people are all battling it out for first place, because there is only really one first place. If you don't get first place, that's basically it. Knockout Tour is by far the most exciting new mode in Mario Kart World. And to me, it's the whole reason for the game. When you boot up Mario Kart World, you're probably, in 2 or 3 years when you're going to boot this game up, you're probably just going to be playing Knockout Tour. Because we still have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on the Switch 2, just through backwards compatibility. So it's kind of hard to say, well, the Grand Prix mode in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, in my opinion, is technically better than the Grand Prix in World. Even though the courses are really great in World, I just wish you did 3 laps. I'm sorry, I'm going back into Grand Prix, but you have dynamic courses. You have courses that, a great example is the Jurassic Park one, the Dino Land or whatever. If you race that in versus mode, you go through that park 3 times. Each time you go through that park, the dinosaurs are doing something different, right? I think the first time you go through, the Triceratops are there, and you can ramp off their noses and their foreheads or whatever, and you can get extra boosts that way. The next time you go through, the Brontosauruses have stampeded through, and you got to watch out for their legs and weave in between their feet. And then the third and final one is you've got a giant T-Rex that's on the loose that's running around trying to eat people. It's those are 3 very different versions of the same track. I'm not getting bored of doing that. But when you go through Grand Prix, you miss all of that because you only see one of those stages over and over and over again. You don't even really see the other two ever, including a Knockout Tour. You only see one of those. So in Knockout Tour, I think that idea works perfectly. It seamlessly works. I think they should have not forced Grand Prix to be a lesser Knockout Tour, because you've got the straightaways in Knockout Tour, which gives you the whole world experience. Grand Prix should have just been Grand Prix, just been original, I think. If they had to pick one or the other, which obviously they did, I think that they just picked wrong, because Knockout Tour is fantastic. I love that mode. I enjoy that mode for what it is. Having Grand Prix trying to be Knockout Tour just doesn't really make any sense. Anyway, moving on. Now, when it comes to versus mode is the one that honestly I only play exclusively when I'm playing multiplayer. With Mario Kart World, when it comes to multiplayer, like if I'm going to do split screen couch co-op, I'm just going to go into versus mode. We're just going to play this level. Okay, which level do you want to play next? Okay, we'll do that one. Which one do you want to play next? Okay, that one. And we just individually we make our own cups, right? We make our own stuff. That way we get to do 3 laps of the same course. We're not doing any of the straightaways, and we're getting to enjoy where I feel like most of the great design in Mario Kart has been placed, which is on the tracks. Versus mode is great. I wish that it wasn't a workaround. Like, I wish that we didn't have to do that. But like I said, once again, Grand Prix has just dropped the ball. Now, on to my favorite mode in Mario Kart World, which is free roam. Free roam is fantastic, right? It is great. I love it. The only problem with free mode is that there is no split screen. I don't like playing video games online. I really don't enjoy it. I'm not a big fan. I'll do it sometimes when I absolutely have to. Like, I love playing Left 4 Dead 2 with like my buddies back home, but I don't like playing with randos. I don't like playing with random people, you know? I'm kind of a lonely kind of guy. I don't really need a whole bunch of people to make a game fun. While you can play free roam mode online, I was really kind of hoping that I could sit down on the couch, like me and my wife, and just free roam together throughout the world. And like, if she found a P-switch, I'd be like, oh, cool, where's that? Let's go do that. Let's go, I want to do that one too. But then I hear that P-switches are like not in the free roam mode online. They've like deleted that or something. I don't know. I can't confirm that because I haven't done it yet. I just do wish that there was at least split screen for free roam, because that would have been a lot of fun. But I have really been enjoying free roam mode, specifically because I like the P-switches. I like collecting all of the little stickers. Those feel like little mini achievements, and you can like decorate your cart with them. Granted, you can only acquire one sticker at a time, which is kind of goofy. I kind of feel like it should have been like a badge system where it's like you've got like a top 3 badges. You've got like a big spot for a badge on the front, one for each of the sides, and then one in the back. Then you could have like shown off more of your flair and kind of like really customized your carts with stickers. Just having one sticker is just kind of like, whatever. But once again, I'll get more into that kind of stuff later on. One of the other major successes of this title is the music. The music is great. The remixes of a lot of the classic Mario and Nintendo tracks are great. Like, I was a little nervous when I heard that they had, done a new version of Dire Dire Docks. That track has such a special place in my heart. But to hear the new updated Mario Kart World version of Dire Dire Docks, it's great. Everything that they've done here is fantastic. I don't know if like the same team that worked on a lot of the Smash Brothers remixes have done the soundtrack to this game, but man, oh man, sometimes there are tracks that come on that I know from like Super Nintendo days that sound great and like bright and beautiful now, and it's like, oh, it breathes new life into these old tracks. Mario Kart World is one of the rare Nintendo titles that I will just put that soundtrack on in my headphones. Like, I'll just look it up on YouTube, hit that playlist, and just hit shuffle and just listen to that while I'm at work, because it's pretty great. I really love it. However, there's a really big however here. I think that the theme to Mario Kart World is terrible. I really, really don't like it. Now, let me explain. It's the theme that plays when you're in the main menu or when the game first boots up and you see the little character driving around the world. And it's like a harmonica, like kind of country western kind of thing, which I get what they're going with here. They want that to be the theme because The Mario Kart circuit is kind of like a Route 66 kind of vibe, and they're kind of going for that. And I get it. I get what you're doing. I get it, Nintendo. But when you boot up the game, your character, or whoever you last played as, is always just somewhere randomly in the world driving around, right? So when you boot up the game, you hear the country western kind of harmonica music, the ba-da-ba-da-ba, you hear that kind of thing. But then, like, my character's like at the haunted cinema, or in like the high mountain snowy area, right? Or they're at like a DK Pass, or at like Rosalina's kind of like the Starfield Park thing. You know, the setting does not match that theme, which to me is sometimes kind of jarring, because I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Why is that country western music playing and you're like in this place that just doesn't fit that vibe? It just doesn't look the same. What I would have suggested to Nintendo, and I'm surprised that they didn't do this because they have done this in the past, is scale that theme, take that same theme, but maybe write like 4 or 5 different versions of it, so that like if you load into the snowy level, maybe it's got like a little bit of Jingle Bells kind of sounds to it, or it sounds like maybe Christmassy. Or if you're like at Wario's pirate ship, maybe there's like a kind of a scary pirate kind of sound, or a beach theme to it, or something like that. Or like, you know, like if you were to load into Koopa Troopa Beach or Peach Beach or one of those kind of things, maybe it'd be played on like the steel drums or something. I don't know. Just that same melody, just played with different instruments to give it a different feel, because always loading the game and hearing that harmonica, I don't know. I'm not a fan of that. I can't vibe with it. It's not my kind of thing. So that's really my only complaint with the music. And I get that that's a very small complaint, but I haven't really heard anybody else talk about it. So I feel like that's kind of a unique perspective that I have that I haven't heard anybody else say. This is basically the way that I want to wrap up the discussion here about reviewing Mario Kart. I did mention before that I don't want this to be a review, because unfortunately I've been delaying working on this because I don't really feel like anybody has the right to review this game yet, if that makes sense, because it doesn't feel done. It feels like this game is going to continuously receive updates year after year for at least the next probably 2 to 3 years. Like a little bit more costumes, a little bit, maybe a couple more characters, or a couple of more like modes, or little things like that. A major thing that I honestly cannot believe Nintendo has done is that when you're in free roam mode, there is no way to like check the maps and see the P-switches that you found or completed. There have been times when I've driven by a P-switch and I'm like, I'm going to hit that one later, but I want to go do this other thing here real quick. Once I've driven past it, I got to remember where that is. And that's pretty hard to do with that big of an open world. I wish that on the map it was like, bing, you found this P-switch. And so I could go back to the map and say, oh, here's a few P-switches I have not completed yet. I'm going to go back and do it later. Also, there is an immense amount of pressure to complete the P-switch, because if I find one and I try it a couple times and I can't quite get it, it's like, well, dude, you better get it, because if you close out of this game, it's going to reload you who knows where, and you'll never find that P-switch ever again. So I'm not a big fan of that. I wish that there was some kind of map or inventory system to keep track of all the P-switches. I know that a lot of people have been making their own maps and working on it online, but I don't know, there should be like an official way that we're doing this. I can't believe that. I don't even know how many P-switches there are. It's kind of crazy. At first I was kind of trying to track it, but then I was like, no, man, there's so many. Like, forget it. This is just not going to happen. Also, like I said, I feel like Grand Prix needs a patch. They need to give us a different option for that, like a original Grand Prix and a World Grand Prix. I also do feel like Knockout Tour might have more customizable things. I don't know. The game just doesn't feel done yet. It feels like here's sort of the general idea that we're going for, and we're going to fine-tune it over the course of a couple years. And my proof of why that's going to happen is because last generation with the Nintendo Switch 1, they did that with every single sports game they ever released. Mario Tennis Aces, Mario Golf, like all of that, they drip fed you more content while It's like, who, what? Like, I don't know. I really disagreed with that, and it's sad because I get the feeling like they're doing with that with Mario Kart World, and I don't know. I just wish they wouldn't be doing that. Just give us all of the content up front with Mario Kart. You're charging us $80. Don't make anybody wait, and definitely don't charge for the DLC. That would be wild if they were to say, hey, you want a season pass for Mario Kart World? It's $20. It's like, that's a $100 game. No. If you're going to charge $80, the content all needs to be there day one, 100%. And I just feel like we're not quite there yet. I feel like where this game is right now, I can't recommend it to anybody besides diehard Nintendo fans, diehard Mario Kart fans, and that's about it. There's really nobody else that needs to buy this game. I feel like if you're listening to this and it's the year 2026 and you're thinking about getting a little Christmas present for Johnny, sure, because it's probably been updated. There's probably a bunch of more stuff in there by now, hopefully. Honestly, though, if you're casually waiting for a Nintendo Switch 2 and you're like, you know what, I want to pick it up eventually sometime this year later on when it's just on the store shelves and I don't got to rush out to go get one. Honestly, I don't even really know if I could recommend Mario Kart World to you at that point. Because Donkey Kong Bonanza comes out in like 2 days. And then Metroid Prime 4 is coming out soon. And there's just a lot of other stuff that's going to be on the horizon here. And at this point, in my opinion, Mario Kart World is not worth $80. That is a $60 title. And Nintendo has unfortunately dropped the ball here. I've really been enjoying it, but I'm a huge Nintendo freak. I make content about this crap for fun. So, I'm going to enjoy it unless it's really, really bad. The problem that I have with this is that for the average consumer, I don't think it's enough. For me, sure, whatever. But for the average person, I don't think so. So sort of to wrap all of this up, Mario Kart World is a really, really fun game. I really am enjoying it. However, there's just a lot of stuff missing that I hope they will eventually add and give to us for free. Because right now it's kind of feeling like a really delicious entree with just not enough substance. I just need a little bit more. If I just had a couple extra bites, I'd be full. But as it stands right now, Nintendo has unfortunately left me feeling hungry.